Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear my kid talking in the background? Just waiting to make sure people can hear me. Da 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 da. Da. Yay, I see a yes. Or a yep. Hi. So, I'm look at my wife in the kitchen finishing cereal from the box. Oh, wait, maybe it's not cereal. What is it? Is it yummy? Can I have some? Oh, no, I don't want dill chips. They're not yummy. Ugh. Hi. How's everyone doing today? How's everybody in the chat? Da 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 da. Bum ba da bum ba da ba da bum. How's everybody doing? I've gone into a journaling rabbit hole. So, and it's Sunday in my house, so things. Oh, you were sick? Did I know that, Beth? I can't remember. Cam, honey. Oh dear. It's raining and that makes me happy. I wish it would rain properly here. I'm sorry for everyone's ears. Oh, people say hello. Okay, go away now. Okay. I love you. Go away. Bye. Shut that door, please, baby. Okay. Oh, Faith said hi. Okay. That noise you might hear is now my kettle ready. So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to go and pour my tea. And you can watch to find out just how I will tell him that your son loves Minecraft too, Ashley. You can watch to see just how small my house is. It is so freaking small. Eee! Ow, ow, son of a burning self. Okay, so now that my family has tucked back into my bedroom, actually, so I've gone into a bit of a rabbit hole with the journaling. And basically, what has happened is, for those who might have who are watching this, who might have found me from like my tarot videos, journaling was really my first YouTube love. I found the bullet journal community back when in 2016, when it was much more of like a novelty for a lot of people, and boho berry was big and all of these, and I fell in love, and bullet journaling has been really great for my brain. And I have a stack. See, I have a stack. Ignore the tissue. It's just to keep my teacup from making a ring, because I don't have coasters. So, and I started bullet journal. I started my channel with journaling videos. No, Boho Berry is not making videos. She hasn't made videos in over 2 years. She just kind of disappeared. Last I heard, like physically, she is okay. She's not like nothing super like bad happened to her or anything. Life has just taken her in directions, I guess. I don't know any details really. But journaling is what brought me onto YouTube, and it is like my first love of YouTube. And then came tarot and astrology, and witchiness threaded throughout all of them. So I have fallen back into a journaling rabbit hole in that I'm going to put these two aside for a minute. I really want to get back into the journaling the way I was doing it. Do you guys want to see my first journal? It's horrible. This is my very first bullet journal, And I bought this as a gift to myself for quitting smoking. And it is super colorful and very awful. I just mean, like, now aesthetically, it makes my brain want to pop because it is so busy. But the point was, I poured my heart and my soul into my journals, and I loved it. I loved it, and I miss it. I miss pouring myself into my journals. Somewhere along the way, as I started trying to work on the functionality of my journals, I lost some of the fun. And I am determined to have a journal that is both functional and fun. So then what I started doing, I will show you my favorite month in here, though. It was, look at this. Barb will like that. Look at that. There was a spider and blood on my banner because it was October and I'm cool like that. Here's my October monthly. So I'm determined to have my journal that's both, and I'm determined to bring more witchiness into it and all of these things that I love. So then yesterday I went down a rabbit hole where I looked through literally all of my journals. I looked through every single damn one. I flipped through them all. And I've kept these two out because there was a lot of emotions flipping through them. And then there was like a lot of maybe I should burn them all because there's a lot of emotions, but I also have a lot of memories of my son when he was younger in these. So, but I kept these two out because and I was thinking to myself, oh, here, look at that. That was a monthly I did for March. This was in 2018. But I was looking through this and thinking about wanting to lean in. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Barb, can you find this video that Kelly is talking about here from Ivy's Grove, please? And put a link in the chat so I can have the link so I can open it so I don't forget. Please? Please, please, please. Barb? Yes? Have you given this video a thumbs up yet? If no, do it right now. If yes, thank you. You were very, oh. Thank you, Barb. Hi, Heather. Nice to see people. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I just wanted to hang out. Anywho, so I was looking through my journals and I was trying to determine what to do because I use journaling. Oh, it's the Witch of Wanderlust. Okay, cool. I use my journal for a lot. I tarot journal. I use astrology in my journaling. I do bullet journal. I do planning. I do a lot of personal and development. I do work spreads. I do everything I possibly can put in a journal. I put in a journal. Already done. Got that Barb girl. Oh, you meant you already put a thumbs up. I was looking for the link. Anyways. Man, now my house smells yummy because Raya is making food. So I was in this journal. I liked this one. This was one of the ones where I started to get really witchy. Witch of Wonderlust is great. I've watched a few of their stuff. Putting the craft in witchcraft. Thank you, Barb. Hold on. If there's noise, I apologize. There we go. Must pause video. Now I have it ready for later. Thank you. So I was trying to do moon meanings and other things. And then I was flipping through, and I was even talking to a client flipping through journals, and I came across this. So first, the issue I'm having is I want to do so much journaling that putting it all in one book is hard because then I'm afraid it's going to fill up so fast I won't get to really enjoy my time in the book. And a lot of us who do lots of, you know what? I'm going to show you one of my favorite things from my old journals. Just give me 1 second. When you tarot journal and you do astrology and you do functional planning and you do all of these, doing it in one book, and you like, I tarot journal every single day. You can fill up a book fast, right? This is why lots of folks have a separate tarot journal and whatnot. So I've been trying to figure out how to fully get my system to work for me, even though I've made great strides. For Snow the Witch, or for others who have, well, for anyone. Oh, hey, Burgess, how you doing, love? One of my favorite things, and now when you have a 4-month-old, life is chaos, so it still just might not be time. I just wanted to show you this. I have in this journal, my son, this was in 2016, so he would have been about 2 when I started bullet journaling. One of my favorite things about this is that I have memories from him as a kid all in here. All of these pink tabs up here at the top are all memories from my kiddo where he did something cute. Here I wrote, Cameron bonked his head at nap time. I comforted him, and then he slowly put his head against his bedside and quote unquote whimpered. He started smiling, such a faker. He wanted me to comfort him again, so he pretended to bonk his head so he would get more hugs. My favorite one, let me find it. This friggin' kid was so funny. So one of the coolest things about journaling, even if you can't do anything else, I highly recommend, for anyone who has big things going on in their life that they're afraid they'll forget, I highly recommend just having a journal beside you, just a blank notebook. It can be cheap, that you can literally just write down little things. So after playing the buzz game, which is one where we go like this with our hands, put them on him and go bzzz, and like make him like jiggle. After playing the buzz game out in the living room, Cameron's just ate a cracker, and I look over and he's got his hands on his tummy and is buzzing himself. So he was sitting there trying to play the buzz game by himself. Cameron's in the bathroom bothering Z in the shower. I can hear Z talking. Just as he finishes saying, "I know your tricks," Cameron flushes the toilet and Z exclaims, "Hey," because Cameron was like purposely playing with the toilet. But let me find my favorite one. But just having a blank notebook beside you where you can just write memories. And literally what I did was I just put it, that journal is mine. Yes, I did. It is mine. I just have to show you. I just have to read my favorite one because it was so freaking funny. Oh, so Cameron had an accident in the bathroom. This is it. I bring him to, we were potty training, and I bring him to the bathroom. I point to the puddle and I says, "What's that?" And he goes, "An elephant," and like tried to do the trunk, and then he ran away. So I just love journals for memory keeping too. And this is my very first one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 21. I have like, 22, 23. I have 23 completed journals. Anyways, so I went down this rabbit hole and I found a couple things. One is in this bullet journal, which was from January to May 2018, and I named her Lolita because at the time I was naming my journal. And I had this, and I was talking to a client in a journaling consultation session, and we were looking at journals and chatting about journals, and I was like, I wish I knew what I was thinking when I made this, because all I know is it says a spiritual journey 1 month at a time. And then I have January, February, March, the season of winter designated as an inner journey, the season of spring designated as an outer journey, the season of summer designated as a receiving time, and the season of winter designated as or the season of fall, my bad, designated as a giving time. And then each month I had a specific like theme and focus I was trying to do. I had affirmations for January, silence for February, self-love for March, listening for April, compliments for May, asking for help for June, not disputing compliments for July, saying yes for August, nature's gifts, random acts of kindness, letter love, surprises. So I had this whole idea. I don't remember much of it, but I had this whole idea. And let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. I had this whole idea of just doing specific work, like personal development, witchy development. My wife's air fryer just beeped. Honey? Yes, your thing dinged. Yeah. Her thing. What are you doing? You missed her. She was just being, yeah, but you were on the small screen when you were being a spectacle. Mm. So I had this whole thing here where I've tried to map out a monthly journey. And now my kid's coming out. And this isn't the first time, or well, this might have been the first time, but this isn't the only time I've tried to do this. I like the idea of doing like themes throughout the year, so as like a very big exploration journey. Another time I did it was in something similar where I tried it. This was my bullet journal of shadows. This was from November 17th, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. And in it, I used the mistake card from the Boo Tarot. I have the astrological months where I was, and this is kind of also, it is fun. They're loud. Well, mostly my beautiful little boy, like me, can't tell how loud he is, and that's not his fault. That's something that can happen sometimes with certain neurodivergencies. Sometimes you just can't tell how loud or how soft your voice is. So it just overwhelms my neurodivergent brain sometimes. That's all. So another time I did this astrological months, which is kind of halfway between how the spirit journey one we just saw and my trying to do goal setting based on astrology. I am very glad to know that they're not super loud through the PC, Barb. Thank you. I really appreciate knowing that. That does help me a little bit. The camera keeps focusing on the Boo Tarot instead of the book. Focus. I can't. Anyway, so this time what I did was I laid out the months and I put the signs that the majority of each month is in. So for January, the sun is in Capricorn for most of it. And then at the end, it goes into Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, yada, yada. And so I wrote, based on the themes of Capricorn or of the signs, I wrote things. So Capricorn is very much about like, it's a very structured sign. It's very steadfast. It's very long term. And part of this is because oh, thank you, Monica. That's exactly the kind of thing, like a year of self-healing and exploration, just based on whatever I want to do and whatever I'm feeling. So Capricorn's very structured because it's ruled by Saturn. So I was writing about the thing I wanted to focus on for January when I did this was, what foundational areas do you want to realign and focus on to build? For Aquarius, I'm not actually going to read more examples because this was also when I was using the 12th letter alphabet. So like Aquarius, I wrote, what community truth do I hold that I can spend more time with? The community part is not actually an Aquarius thing. That's an 11th house thing, which is based on the 12 letter alphabet, which I don't like. So this was from back when I was earlier in my astrology journey. Cameron, honey, can you shut the door, please? Thank you, baby. So, I want a hug. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, big. Oh, there's my squish. This little boy is 8, and he lost a second tooth up here. Where's your face? There you. I can stick like my whole finger in that gap. This is Cameron. See, look, I'm smiling, and I don't have my 2 front teeth. No. Mwah. This is Cameron. So this one right here, Ashley they said their son likes Minecraft too. Oh, I need to ask someone for a Minecraft account. No, we're not asking for Minecraft accounts on live YouTube. You've given me a hug. Please leave that alone unless you're going to guess my tarot card of the day. Everyone. Oh, good idea. You're going to guess my tarot card? You remember what number 5 of the major arcana is? Okay, well, let's let them guess. Well, they know what. A lot of them will know what number 5 of the major arcana is. Okay, well, let's let them guess. Okay. And then, will someone please type what my card of the day is? It is number 5 of the major arcana. Yeah, will someone please guess? See, hold on. Make it big. But then you're not big. And you're cuter. Well, where's your hair camera? Stick it up there. I can't, honey. It's fine. Someone in this chat knows. I know. I can tell you what it is. Get your feet down. Okay. Well, now I could tell them. You could tell them what it is now that I've told you. But I need one of them to guess. You need one of them to guess what my card. Don't. Sorry. Pull my. Okay, hold on. Hold on, bud. Let me hold it. What is my daily card? I know I know a few of you in this chat do tarot too. It's the Hierophant. They did it. Now, go away. Hi. Now wave goodbye. Hierophant. Okay. It's the Hierophant. Go on. Bye. Go on. I love you. I love you. Go away. Wait. Go. Bye, everyone. He is damn cute. He is very, very, very damn cute. Anyways, so I've determined a couple things. I've determined that I am going to try again how I used to do, have a book that is much more like Book of Shadows, because like I used to in my old journals, I used to journal a lot more, just like rambling thoughts, and it helped me process through things. And I find since I put everything into one book, I stopped doing it. I think partly because my book goes on YouTube. I think also just because I don't want to fill it up too fast, because I want to enjoy it. So the book I used for my moon journal, I do have a ton of space. I am going to use this as just like the classic, the way I was doing Books of Shadows, where like this one, where I would write down notes from books I was reading. 1 second, Ashley. I see your question. Just 1 second. I do tarot I don't know if I'm going to do tarot readings in it yet. I think so. My dog is eating. I would put in cards and stuff. I would, if I got a new crystal, I would always write what it was about. I would just write about signs and symbols. I just want a place to do more explorative kind of stuff again. I think I am going to put tarot readings in here because I've realized, well, I'll tell you why in a second. Ashley, to answer your question, a journal, like a bullet journal, typically lasts me around 3 to 4 months. I want it to last 3 months because then I have one for each quarter of the year, and that makes me happy. Although lasting 4 months and having 3 a year also is good, but I would like if it was quarterly with the stuff I'm going to be doing. So here's my current journal, which, by the way, I do have to say, Notebook Therapy, though I love their journals, the glue on the binding, not the best, because what happens is sometimes the pages don't lie flat, and like you can see the glue. So if you separate the pages around, like here, see, it doesn't line up perfectly because of the glue. And I have a tendency to pull that apart, and I think that's why my binding has separated. So what I'm doing now with my journals is just gluing the last couple pages together. New moon spread. Anywho, stay tuned. We're going to be talking about that. You're not having more food. You just ate. My dog is looking at me. Come here, Cora. Come here. What do you want? Are you thirsty? Do you need some water? Yeah? I think my dog needs some water. Y'all can stare at this moon spread while I go get my dog some water. Okay. Here you go, baby. Otherwise, do you want it in this room? Here. Okay, she wanted in the room with the other two. Okay. Ooh, how I used to track the astrological influences of the moon. Excuse me, I need to go and find that video. Let me just open a different tab here. Y'all are gonna give me too many tabs. Listen, it's not cool. Too many beautiful tabs. All right, cool. I got your channel opened on a different tab. Love the moon spread. This, I saw, so Jessica Starr, formerly known as Jessica the Story Witch, now known as Jessica and the Moon, did a video recently about moon magic and how she feels like the way we've been doing it and like the paradigm around which we talk about it has been incomplete and therefore not quite accurate. She did this video recently, and did it work properly? Did I type it? Yeah. I watched it and it really clicked for me. Like the basics of it was that, like, the colloquially we talk about the new moon being about manifesting, and that just thanks for stopping by, Steph. Oh my gosh, look at all my members with their moons. I just really noticed that those little things beside like Chrissy's name and Barb's name, those are my members. That's their badge. It's a moon and it's going to become a full moon. And I'm so excited. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Snow the Witch, for telling me. Anywho, So I watched that video that I just put the link for in the chat, and it clicked for me because like on the new moon, I never feel like doing manifestation rituals. And I don't want to give too much away, but it clicked for me and it changed how I'm approaching the moon, and I'm really excited about it. Anyways, so I don't actually think I like doing tarot entries, tarot readings. Oh my gosh, can't talk on this size. I highly recommend it, Monica. I would recommend it for anybody, even if they do like manifesting with the new moon. It's a really cool perspective, and it's not actually like manifesting with the new moon is wrong. It's adding a different layer and of nuance to it, kind of a thing, and a different viewpoint. So I think it's really interesting, even if it doesn't end up working. I will answer this question, Chrissy, in just 1 second. So I don't think I like doing tarot readings in a B5 size, because I feel like in a B5 size, I make my wording much bigger, and I just don't like how it feels and looks. So besides my daily tarot pulls, which I'm doing, which are integrated into my dailies, like right here, this is a tarot pull, but it's not super messy. Besides that, all of my like today stuff is going to stay in my bullet journal. And then I'm going to do a book of shadows like I used to, where I put my tarot readings in here. Like this is a tarot reading. I have some really nicer ones. This is working on a ritual I did. I've done lots of stuff. I just wrote about my daily card. This was a new moon reading. I just like it better in this size. As for your question, Chrissy, I do a book of shadows. So that's what's going to be going on moving forward. And now you guys get to see into my new journal. This is the one I ended up picking to use first. Y'all who were live when I showed the two journals were like, do this one. And I was like, no, I'm feeling the red one. But then I started to feel this one. So I went with it. I am not going to show you all of the things I've done so far, because I have spreads ready to go in here. I'm not going to show you that because I'm doing a video on that. Y'all have to wait and be patient and subscribe and like and all that other stuff. This is what we're going to be working on. Black is everything. Look at it. It is really pretty. It is really freaking pretty. And so I will show you. Okay, so slight spoiler-ish. The page started to separate here. Like on the next page, it started to separate. So I just glued the first two pages together. So like here on the back, there's nothing in the back. I had separated this a bit with like glue, and it had started to break away from the binding. So how these two are glued weirdly, I just glued those pages together, and I'm going to do that for the back here too. And I think that will help keep the binding intact. I will let you all know. I still do like the notebook therapy. It's much more accessible for me cost-wise, because Archer and Olive, which is stunning, their shipping is really expensive. So if you know of other options, let me know. Now, Chrissy, for your question, I do a book of shadows, and I do have a grimoire, although it's been a long time since I have worked in that. To me, my book of shadows is the book that goes with me through my craft. I'm just opening and getting the video of my big book. I Yeah, I hate the first page and the way it's glued too. Check out my big grimoire book. Boom. So just gluing it together, I think will keep the binding. But so, hi, Elf. A grimoire is like, based on the definitions, a grimoire is when you've done a spell and you want to record it so you can do it again in the future, that goes in the grimoire. Or if there's things you want to actively reference all the time, that goes in the grimoire. Hello. Um, a book of shadows is more so about like it goes with you as you practice. So in my books of shadows, you'll see I do write things that I'm learning at that time. It's not necessarily stuff that will stick with me through my whole path. A book of shadows is like the book that goes with you as you're learning. If you're doing a ritual, you write it down as you do it, so that way if you decide you like it and you want to redo it, you have the information to record into, say, a grimoire. The grimoire is basically like the recipe book kind of a thing. It's like the final product. The video I posted in the chat of my big grimoire book, it's literally the size of my torso. I would get it out and show you, but it is huge. It's literally like, it's this big. It's huge. That is meant to be like a family grimoire ultimate magic book. That's what I bought it for. Admittedly, it was extremely expensive. So no problem, Heather. That's based on my understanding from what I learned, and that's how I operate, right? So that one is like my grimoire, and it's the one that I'd like to fill out and pass it on through my family to my son if he wants it one day, or someone else in my family who wants it, so they can add their own things. So we have like, if there's others in my family who walk any kind of a witchy path, there's like a family book. So I have that. I haven't worked in it in a while. I'd like to get to the point where I can again. Anyways, so this is my new book, and this is like my this is my day-to-day book. And what I'm working on, just stick that under here so it stays nicer, is this puppy. This is what I wanted to come on and work with you all on. I have my color scheme picked, so you guys get a sneak peek of that. So the idea here is kind of like expanding, because the thing I really love about the B5 size and about my bullet journaling is my camera. Let me just make sure my camera's doing okay. Okay, good. There we go. Sorry about my squeaky chair. The thing I really love about this is that it keeps my brain clear. It's a wonderful place for self-development, for witchy development, for trying things. I love so much doing spreads. I want to show you. Woo, quick peek. I love the spreads I've done in this so much. I suppose I could quickly show you and then but not tell you anything about them. Should we do a quick teaser? And y'all have to stay tuned for the video if you want to actually hear about them and see more about them. What do you think? What do you think? Should we do a quick little like teaser? Yes, tease me. Barb, if you want me to tease you, I demand an emoji. Okay. So I am not explaining anything. Okay. So don't ask. I will show you a quick flip through. Oh, cover. I really like this one. I'm really excited about this one. Don't worry, this page is not staying blank. And this is where we are. So there's your teaser flip through. I'm very, 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 very excited. This is for not just a wheel of the year, Barb, my personal wheel of the year. I'm so excited. It does look so good, not to be full of myself, but it does, and I'm damn pleased with myself over it. So I have done level 10 lives before. So what this is I've kind of combined in my brain, I've modified the concept of the level 10 life, and I'm using it to work on the concept of my monthly astrological based planning, and with the idea of creating these monthly themes for myself so I can work on development and such. So what I have here is, this is the wheel. So the level 10 life, some folks, I haven't read the book where the level 10 life came from, so I can't speak to that. There is some folks that say that the level 10 life does have some toxic positivity notes, and I'm sure it does. For myself, I don't believe, I do believe some areas of my life can hit a 10 and then can drop. And I don't berate myself about it. What I use it for is purely to get a feeling of how I'm feeling about the areas in my life. So that way I can choose what I want to work on, excuse me, or so I can choose what I want to work on, see if there's any areas I'm really concerned about, that kind of stuff. It is one of those things that for me, it is not really ever dipped into being an unhealthy thing. For some people, it might be, but I really, really like, yeah, this. I'm taking the temperature of certain areas. I'm taking the temperature of areas that I've determined so I can see, oh, well, this is too cold and I don't like that. Or this is too hot and I don't like that. And I can adjust things. Or this is a good temperature. I don't have to worry about this right now. It's cooking along, right? And brain, 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 brain. My brain just stopped. I am going to need my pencil crayons, though. Here, there. So I have, but I want to do it with astrology. And I think the most important thing for being able to do something like this in a way that isn't ending up like you just berating yourself is, A, don't do it all the time. Don't, like, every month is too much, and which is what I've been doing. I've been scaling the areas of my life every month, and I think that might be just a bit too much, even though I've been very detached from it and it's been like, okay. I just don't think it's as effective. I wouldn't do it every month. And I feel like it's, oh my gosh, y'all, my brain. I feel like it's, oh, I can't remember. You have to be aware and okay of how how flexible, how much it's going to change, how in flux it is, how fluctuating, right? Like, I think where people could run into trouble is if something reaches a level 10 and then they expect it to stay there. It's never going to, even in the best of circumstances. Nothing's ever going to feel at a level 10 from moment to moment to moment. And it's not realistic to expect it to stay so. Why does my phone keep freezing? That's really annoying. Sorry about that. So I think you have to, in my opinion, if you have it in check, that if you have your expectations in check, then you can still use the idea of taking the temperature of things. So I have here a place to do the taking of the temperature, except instead of 8 areas of life, which is what the level 10 life was, if I recall correctly, because I've done that before. Instead of 8 areas of life, I'm doing it with the 12 houses of astrology. So I have a big ass circle. I did use a circle thingy for it. Where'd it go? Everything's a mess. Where'd I put it? I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. I used a big circle. Oh, my cord. Sorry about that, folks. 1 second. There we go. I used a big circle thing for it. Unfortunately, I don't have a protractor, so the 2 final outer circles are not very nice. At least not compared to the nice inner ones. So I went around and I did this, like, this is how my chart lines up. So this is, and on the sides here, I have the signs. So the first house is Cancer on my chart. This I just got on Amazon. It is just like a circle tool. Helix circle tool. It is really freaking cool. So the first house in my chart is Cancer because I'm a Cancer rising sign. So as long as you know your rising sign, you can figure out what your chart is like in whole sign, because it calculates and tells you, okay, you're a Cancer rising. So in whole sign, Cancer becomes your entire first house. So I have, and then you just go around in order, but it goes counterclockwise, and you go through the signs. So it goes Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and round and round. So the first house of Cancer, and what I did was, looking at the topics of the houses, I picked ones that are very centered on me. So the first house is the house of self. That one's easy. This is stuff like identity and other things. The second house is the house of resources. It's my resources, so my time, energy, and money. That's easy. The third house is the house of siblings. It was traditionally known as the house of God and our goddess, and the 9th house is traditionally the house of God. So this is communication, ideas, siblings, short distance travel. I put communication because that's an area I want to look at. The 4th house is the house of roots and home and ancestry. I put the word roots because that, in my brain, it summarizes it well. The 5th house, which I have in Scorpio and other Cancer risings have it as Scorpio, is the house of play, children, pleasure. So sex can be a topic there, lots of things, just anything fun, really. And whatever your idea of fun is. So I wrote play. The 6th house is the house of your day-to-day life and your physical well-being. The 7th house is the house of one-on-one relationships. Does not have to be romantic or sexual. So I have relations. The 8th house, that one was hard. The 8th house is the house of debt, taxes, other people's resources, the occult, death, and sex. So I went with sex. The ninth house is the house of spirit and study. So it's a good place for like your spiritual stuff. As I said, that's the one that was traditionally known as the house of God. And then here's the one that was the house of goddess. Number 10 is the house of basically like your life's work, career, ambition, reputation, your purpose. Number 11 is your house of hopes and dreams, humanity, community groups, groups of people and friends. So I went with the community aspect, although I could change that to the hopes and dreams. I might, we'll see. And then the 12th house is the house of self-undoing. So it's a house of isolation, seclusion, mental health, dreams. It's a very, very hidden place. And so you could have done like shadow work for the 12th house, but I just went with mental for like my mental health. So that's how I've decided to do it. So I have that. And then I just wrote along the outside when the seasons are for me. So this corner where Capricorn starts, so Capricorn, Pisces, and Sagittarius in my hemisphere are in winter. So I wrote that winter, spring, summer, fall. Because, so this is multi-layered. I need to take the temperature of things. And then I want to look at and determine my seasonal themes. Oh, good. I'm glad you found it. I want to determine my seasonal themes. Like summer for me down here is a time very about myself. Fall could be very much about like my environment. I want to look at it and find themes so I can have like during this season, my focus is this. And then within that season, each month, I have a more specific focus on a facet of that. Does that make sense? I hope so. But so down here, I have boxes to write my focus for the winter, spring, summer, fall. And then over here, I have, sorry, that freaking shadow is bugging me. Over here, I have the year written into quarters, winter, spring, summer, fall again. And in this box, I'm going to write my theme, like my focus area that I want to work on for that month. And then I'm going to write like some goals. So that's the idea. So, and then from here, I'm going to be filling this one out kind of weird because this journal starts in October and should take me hopefully to the end of the year. And then hopefully I'll start a new one in 2023. So how did I do it? I did it. Yeah. Oh, not with that one though. Fall, 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 winter. So I hope that made sense. I hope I explained that okay. So since this starts in October, I'm going to do the fall section for this year. And then I'm going to start trying to work on like next year, what I'm imagining, because these time periods have already passed for us. So I want to get started with just imagining this. Yeah. Fair, Barb. Hey, Barb, you never answered me on if I should if I commented back in our my membership. Barb is a member of my channel. If you click by the subscribe button, there's a little join button. You can check it out. We have really cool things like our first quarterly D&D game is coming up for our members. That's going to be in October. I'm very excited about that. So in our Facebook group, I was talking Barb. You said you have too many blank notebooks. You need to send them to me. I will write on the first page for you in various limericks and messages of hello, and then I will send them back to you, and then you can use your notebooks. That's what you should do. You should send them to me. But yes, the brain exploding is kind of a big deal. Okay. So, big mess. Mess of pencil crayons. I can't believe it's September either. I can't believe I have an 8-year-old. Like, how did I get old enough to have an 8-year-old? Like, I'm not complaining. It's just weird. Time is weird. Yeah, and then they're not blank anymore. And then you can actually use them, is my point. So, I have various greens to use for filling out my spring section, and various blues. Not this one. To fill out the winter section. And pinks for no, that doesn't really work for spring. I just didn't like that one yet. This one's fine. Pinks for the spring section or the fall section. I'm matching them by thing. So basically, Barb, you just want to have a bunch of blank notebooks, basically, is what you're saying. Who here in the chat has just a ton of blank notebooks? And then yellows. Oh no, I dropped it. Oh. I'd rather line them up by the end, I think. Okay. So I need to start taking the temperature of these. Fair. That is very, very, very fair, Burgess. I totally understand. I can't tell you how often I have to pause videos and do that. The reason is because then you think if you suddenly have an idea and you need a notebook, you have very many to choose from. That is the reason. Look at how happy this page looks with all the colors of pencil crayon. So I need to rate these. See, I don't actually have blank. I have like 2 blank notebooks. I have a few that aren't really filled, but I don't actually have a lot of blank notebooks because most of my notebooks are filled. I wish I had blank notebooks, but I don't. Anywho, okay. I'm going to start with I'm just going to start with summer, with the house of self. Okay, so how am I feeling about myself, my identity? Oh, do I want to color? Yeah, I just want to, well, see how colorful it looks. You know, I would like to stock up during sales. That would require me to have money during sales, and that's not always the case. I do have a different blank notebook. I have another notebook therapy one. I have this, and it is beautiful, and it's got mushrooms on it, and it's soft. But I really wanted a blank notebook, like for starting a new book of shadows, but I can't afford one right now, and that's fine. So I'll just fill up my old notebook. Okay. Starting with the house of self, my identity. How do I feel about myself? I might have picked. Oh, nice. Having having a birthday money. I mean, living life with a blank brain sounds pretty good considering my brain is constantly making noise at me. So we'll balance each other out, Barb. It's okay. Um, how I feel about myself. I might have started with the wrong area. So, um, I'm thinking mostly of like my identity, not necessarily self-confidence, but like more like self-knowledge. How do I feel like I know myself? Do I feel like I understand myself? And the answer is not really. I am here to tell you that already my Mars return is kicking my ass. So that puppy gets a 3. I forget things I write down, like to do things, and so it's like I'm writing them out of my brain. So to-dos and appointments need to be unwritten for me so I remember them. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, that's why writing them down is good if you are able to check back with your journal, right? Like writing them down gets them out of your head, yes. If you trust that you'll check back with your journal. But if you trust that you'll check back with your journal so you don't remember them and you don't check back on your journal, then yes, that would be an issue. Because I love journaling so much, and see, if I did it cheap, Deborah, I would not use it. Like, that's just the honest truth. I've tried many, many, many cheap notebooks and I don't finish them. I don't use them. Something about my Venus and Taurus, I need it to feel very, hello, Dragonfly Flow. I need it to feel very luxurious. It needs to feel like a whole special thing. Otherwise, I don't do it.
We win!
We win!
Yeah, we beat heroes, Mom.
That's awesome. Were you playing a campaign?
No, I was playing with it's Mom and I beat and I beat my first hero with her. She did it do the final battle though, but I was on her team, so I still won.
Great. All right, go on, go play.
Yeah.
Dragonfly, what we're up to is I'm yammering about journals while working in my journal. I'll tell you a bit more details in a minute. I just wanted this. To me, it has to be. For some people, if they make it pretty, they won't use their notebook. For me, I have to. It's what brings me back. I tried bullet journaling at least 3 times before 2016, and I failed every time. Because in my head, a bullet journal was a specific thing. It required, and now this isn't actually true. This is just how my brain works. It required an LT 1917. That was the journal I saw that I was like, oh, I'm going to bullet journal in this. Yes. And I got that idea in my head. And so every time I try, and I wanted dot grid, and every time I tried something else, it didn't work. So once I figured out that something will work in my brain, if I try doing anything else, I can't keep up with it. So for me, it has to have the aesthetics, right? It has to give me that feeling. For others, it would have to be very simple. Otherwise, like for some, this might be overwhelming and might feed into perfectionism, right? It all depends on the person. So this circle thing, Dragonfly, is I am seeing how I feel currently on all the different areas of my life. Yeah, and the important thing though, Elf, is that it's quality to the person. It's completely subjective, right? My Venus is in Taurus. Taurus is slow, it is steady, it is solid. And Venus is all about luxury and been there, Barb. I have been there 100%. Although, to be fair, when I was in burnout, I buried myself in my journals with prettiness and ignored the world. So, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, so Venus is very happy when it's in Taurus. So it's very luxurious. It's very much like whatever it is that gives that Taurus person that feeling of, ooh, this is the thing. Nothing else quite does. Nothing else quite does the trick. But this circle thingy. Oh, okay. Hi, Jess. That's fine. I'm happy to call you Jess. I don't know all the names of all the peoples. So I'm gauging how I feel about all the different areas of my life. Your journalist should, your therapist should suggest journaling. I always recommend journaling. So, and these are the areas of my life based on my astrology. Anyone could do this for themselves, but they wouldn't always be the same areas. Like for me, my area of self is related to the Cancer part of my chart because I'm a Cancer rising sign. That means the first whole sign house in my chart is Cancer, and the first house is about the house of self. So everyone has a Cancer part in their chart, but it might not always be about the house of self. So I've laid this out specifically to me. I'm ranking things, and then that way I can kind of create myself focuses for the months based on this. So I can build practices and just, it's like a self-development, growing my spiritual practice tool, goal setting kind of combo thing. Now, my house of resources, how I feel about my resources. I feel good about my resources. I feel like my resources of time and energy and money are trending in the direction I want them to be going. Though I do feel like they need still lots of work and maintenance. So that's that. That one was easy. And then my communication, I feel awful about my communication right now. Okay. Mercury is in Libra right now. And Mercury is going to go retrograde soon. Don't panic. Mercury retrogrades are not as bad as they are made out to be inherently. A Mercury retrograde is not inherently a bad time. That is a myth. There's way more to it than that. So the thing is, Mercury is in Libra. Libra is down here. On my chart, Libra is down here. And my Mercury, the Mercury where Mercury was in the sky when I was born, is up here directly across from Libra in Aries. And that means I speak and I think and I communicate it with Aries tendencies, like the talking really fast. Aries is a fire sign. It is a cardinal fire sign. It's arguably the fastest sign. So, and I speak very much from my me place, whereas Libra is very much about where we start balancing things and considering the other. Yes, Barb. So Mercury in Libra is much more diplomatic, whereas Mercury in Aries is much more blunt. So I have trouble communicating when Mercury is in Libra. Like I literally just trip over my tongue more. So Cam, a little bit quieter, please. I can hear you, and I'm having trouble focusing. Thank you, baby. So I feel I'm tripping over my tongue, and that's frustrating me about my communication. At the same time, I feel like that's skewing my answer here. So I'm actually gonna, because I also feel like I'm doing really well working on my communication. So I'm just gonna, that feels better. Give that a 6. It's trending in the right direction. I still have lots of space. I can work on things. Yeah, Barb, everyone blames everything on Mercury retrograde. And it's wrong. It is just factually incorrect. Mercury retrograde can cause some shenanigans. It always depends. And each see, I can't. each Mercury, what, I don't know what Mercury is, but it's not what I meant. It is not a tree of merch, you hush. Each Mercury retrograde is different. So, shameless self promo, I'm actually doing a video. My top tier on my membership is my Astro Allies, and they get their first, how do you find all of this out? What all of this do you mean, Elf? Do you mean astrology stuff? Can you add a bit more context to your question so I can answer it, please? Brain. So my Astro Allies tier, they get a monthly, we do a monthly live and we do a monthly video. And the video I'm making for them this month is called Mercury Retrograde. It doesn't have to be a shit sandwich. And I'm going to talk all about and tell them about why Mercury retrograde does not have to be as bad as people make it out to be. Because there's way more to it than that. Basically, when people go, oh shit, Mercury's in retrograde and nothing's going to work, it's a vast oversimplification is really the issue. And so I'm going to be talking to my members about a lot of the details. While I'm waiting to see if Elf can give me any more context as to what they mean. Area 4 for me is Libra. It's my house of roots. My moon sign is in Libra. This is, I'm feeling pretty awful. Well, okay. I'm going to give it a bit better. Okay, 4. I'm going to give it a 4 because I'm really upset with my, oh, okay, I figured it out in my brain. Okay. So how I feel about my home, my roots, and my ancestry, those I feel, I'm going to say, pretty good about. They're, again, trending in the right direction, but a lot of amazing progress has happened that I feel really good about, but still lots of things I want to work on in the home. Like I always say, my Uranus is glued to the couch. It's very lazy. Oh, Barb. Oh, Barb, we love you. What the things I was thinking of? Oh, okay. 1 second, Elf. The things I was thinking of that I was like, I'm not so sure about with home, it's actually more the 6th house stuff that's bothering me than the home stuff. The 4th house is the house of roots, ancestry, just your home in general. Those things I feel pretty good about. But I feel like there's lots of work to be done. It's more the sixth house, which has day-to-day stuff that I'm not feeling good about. How I find all this out, Elf, is I'm a professional astrologer. So I've been studying astrology for a couple years. And when I say I study astrology, I go hard. I dive in. Barb, shut up. You're going to confuse people. Barb, geez. I've been immersed in studying astrology for a couple years now. So it's various study. It's like I talk in Aries. That's because my Mercury is in Aries. And because I've studied astrology, I know that Mercury is the planet that tells us about how you communicate and how you think and how you move through the world in a lot of ways. It's like Barb. Mercury is the planet of communication and how you think and how you your brain waves, like your mental processing, and a bit of how fast or slow you do things, kind of a bit. Because I know that those are what Mercury is about in astrology, and because my Mercury is in Aries, I know I talk like an Aries. And there's much more detail I can go into with that, but it's all astrology stuff which I've studied, and that's why I'm building this. I use astrology in my day-to-day life all the time. Okay, so the fifth house of play. I feel pretty good about playfulness in my life. I feel like I have lots of things I love. So if you wanted to find some of this kind of stuff out, Elf, you could hire an astrologer and have purchase a birth chart reading. You could just start some self-study. There's the astrology podcast here on YouTube is a really great tool for self-study. That said, even people who study astrology also see astrologers. It's kind of like tarot readers. A lot of tarot readers will still purchase tarot readings. So I can't really recommend books, Elf, because I'm not a big book person. I have some books, but I haven't read them, so I don't know if I could recommend them yet. I'm a person who learns through listening to people talk about it and through engaging in conversation about it. So I learned through things like getting birth chart readings, through talking to people about astrology, talking about astrology with astrologers, through listening to the astrology podcast on YouTube. Those are the methods that I've used to study. I haven't done a lot of book study. It's just like tarot. I didn't learn through book study. I learned through doing it and talking to other people who do it. The sixth house of the physical and the day-to-day. This is really where a big chunk of my current gripiness is. The sixth house is the house of day-to-day life and your physical well-being. It's very material world stuff. So it's routines. My day-to-day life, I am not very happy with. There is lots of stuff I want to fix. Basically, like I love my work. My day-to-day life, my day-to-day how I move through this world in my physical self, how I physically live in this world, my physical routines, my physical health, all feel awful, and I really want to fix them. And it doesn't quite feel authentic like I spend so much time reading, or not reading. I spend way more time than I like to watching shows and just being sucked into technology all day as opposed to going outside. My house of relationships, that's the 7th house. I feel pretty good about my relationships. My relationships feel like a lot of tending more than like, fuck, I need to fix this. It's more tending kind of thing. If that makes sense. That is how I live these days too. So, Barb, and for those who don't know, I am, I've talked about this before. I'm neurodivergent. I'm not officially diagnosed, but I am 100% confident in my self-diagnosis, and I don't give a shit what anyone else has to say about it. Quite honestly. I realized I was burnt out from the way I was living when I starting at the end of 2016, when I went through some really hard shit. And then same, Barb. I love being home. I recommend working from home. I know I'm laughing because like I know that's not possible for everyone, but I wholly understand the feeling. So I got really burnt out. And then I got really burnt out, and then I was doing really a lot better. I did a lot of hard work, and then COVID hit, and we started having to stay home just like everyone else did. And that was really when I realized how much day-to-day life wasn't working for me. And so I began to work on that the best I could. And then what happens is this kind of pattern of like when someone is neurodivergent and they haven't been diagnosed and they've been living life for years without the kind of accommodations that they need for themselves. And it's just basic stuff. Like it's basically the stuff that like humans aren't built to work as many hours and be as physically active in the winter if you live in a climate with winter. It's kind of like that. And then you get really burnt out from having to work in the winter. So then after COVID, people who would go to work in the winter might be experiencing trouble going back to that lifestyle, which was hurting them to begin with, even if they didn't realize it, kind of a thing. Except for neurodivergent folks, it's like, it's harder for me. I learned I'm not actually extroverted. I like people, but I need to come home and rest. And I'm just checking my phone because it keeps like freezing. I put on a mask. I mask when I go out in public, which is basically like I put on a show. It's not fake, but it's me acting normal according to society. So it's exhausting. And so when you realize you're neurodivergent and then you try not to, hi Moonlight Mage, I don't know if I've seen you type anything. So hi. And then you try to learn to stop living like that. You then have to pull yourself out of lifelong neurodivergent burnout, which is it's a long process. So I ranked my house here. The 8th house, I did end up picking sex as a topic. And to me, it's like my sexual health that I'm thinking about versus just like the act of sex. So I've ranked how I feel about that. And just there's some stuff I want to work on for myself. That's all. The next house is the house of spiritual. I'm going to, okay. I'm going to go with a 6, I think. Yeah, that's a 6. This is another one of those places that like it definitely feels like it's trending in the right direction, but there's still a considerable amount I want to do. Had I ranked this just like last month, this would have been very different. Probably. Okay. Now I just have left to do the spring. Okay. My life's work. I love my job. I love my work. I love YouTube land. I love my client sessions. I love the services I create for my clients. They feel so special to me. I love my job. I still want to build and I'm still working on some things, but I love my job. Look at that. It gets an 8. My community is going to be yet another 6. I'm not speaking just about my community here on YouTube. That one I feel really great about, but like my community here in my local life leaves a lot to be desired. So if I balance things out, that's what it is. And then my mental my mental health. I'm going to give that a 2. Basically, I've come to a point where I realize I just put all my things away and I realize I need them. I've come to a point where I'm just realizing how much I need to. Oh, I know what I want to do. Okay. Turn this sideways for a minute. I broke my ruler, y'all. I broke my ruler in half accidentally. Well, I mean, I folded it. Is the chat still there, y'all? The chat went quiet. Someone say something, please. I realized, what was I going to say? Woohoo, kids are in bed. That's a great time. I am sorry to hear that you're having trouble again, Barb. I understand. I've been there. I wish I could like tell you the magic answer that would solve it. I don't know what the magic answer is because I don't believe our world is built in a way that's healthy for anyone, whether they're neurodivergent, oh my God. Bleh. Whether they're neurodivergent or neurotypical, I don't believe. And in case anyone doesn't know, neurodivergent is just, it means your brain functions in a way that is considered not normal, right? Our society is like, this is normal, and it's like a very tiny little thing, and then everything outside of it is neurodivergent. So ADHD is a type of neurodivergency. Autism is a type of neurodivergency. I don't know all the things, but it's, to my understanding, it's when your brain literally functions in a way that is different than what is considered to be normal or typical, which is why then you get neurotypical, right? But I don't believe our world is healthy for anybody. I know there are certainly people who benefit from it more than say I do. But we're not supposed to live to work. We're supposed to work to live. Working is supposed to be a part of our life, not the whole thing of it. And so many environments out there are just very unhealthy. But I know not everyone would agree with me, and that's okay. And that is a huge part of the problem. Getting paid a living wage is freaking hard. So that's fair, Barb. I understand. I understand a lot of people wouldn't want to do that. And that's an okay choice to make. I so hope that despite that, throughout time, you will find a way. Sorry if you can hear my toilet flushing. Hi, I love you too.
I just had to go to the bathroom.
That's fine. I could tell by the toilet flushing. Oh, you want a hug? Okay.
I want a nap hug.
No, thank you.
Make me bigger.
No. Go. Go on, baby.
Bye.
Bye. Cam, I love you very much. I did not give you permission to climb on me. I, in fact, told you not to come up. So that's not very much respecting my boundary about my body right now, is it?
Please.
I will give you a kiss, but you need to get off me, and then you need to ask nicely from the beginning. Absolutely. Come here. Another hug. Would you like another hug? You okay?
Yeah.
Please let me work.
Okay. I will take this magnet.
No, you won't. You will not take the magnet.
Put the coin back.
You can take some of your toys in your room. You will not play with the heavy duty magnet. And in fact, you have a lock in your room that does not belong to you, and you need to bring it out here.
You're right. I'm sorry.
No, you won't. You'll just bring it to me. Yeah, I've been waiting as long as possible before going to the bathroom, Barb. Thank you. All right, high five. Off you go. Thanks, Doodle. I love you. You okay? Okay. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, I get it. It's hard living off a single income. I know, because we've been doing it for a while. I don't make a full income amount yet, and that's okay. It's trending in the right direction, and that's all we need. So living off a single income is hard. But precisely. Things, and it's like I've been saying all video. I believe that things are trending in the right direction. And I believe this is part of why we're seeing kind of an influx. Okay. Executive question. Do I want to color these out on the outside? I think I do, because they're kind of hard for me to see. So I just answered my own question. Why is there an eraser in here? So I think things are trending in the right direction. Humans, though, have this tendency, and nature does as well, that when things are shifting into change, the things that benefit from the previous structure tend to throw a little bit of a fit about it. It's like if you change how your parenting style is. At first, your children throw a fit, or if you used to do the laundry for your spouse, and then you say, you know what, I've had enough, you need to start doing your own laundry, at first they might get very pissy because they used to benefit from you doing their laundry, and then you're choosing not to do it anymore. And so I believe that's kind of the phase we're in, where society and people who've benefited from it are basically throwing a giant shit fit pity party tantrum kind of thing, because what they benefited from is ending, and hopefully enough of them get on board to get us through the tantrum. Because what can happen is when people are like, I'm going to change how I do things, and then they tell the people it affects, like, I'm not doing this anymore, and said person throws a tantrum, often people then get scared and they backpedal and they continue with what they've been doing, even if it's harming them. If that makes sense. Oh, look at how pretty and colorful this is. I'm glad that you are grateful for your job, Barb, and I am confident, especially with the support of a therapist and tarot and whatever other stuff you do. I am confident you will figure things out that hopefully help you not get so burnt out anymore. Look at how beautiful and colored it is with all colorful it is. Pam, honey, you don't. Okay, but you don't need to announce that, my love.
Well, I was, and I realized that.
Right in the middle of interrupting me, like a tree. What do you mean, like a tree? Those pages, aren't they pretty? Look at all the color. Like, okay, this one's hard to see because it's a light yellow, but look at it. Look at them.
I need help closing this. I thought I got it.
No more maple cream goat cheese today. You're gonna eat it all, and I love it. And these are for school. Did you ask for opening these?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. If you asked and Mama said yes, that's okay. No more of those though. Those are for school because you go back to school. Look at them. They're so pretty. Oh, like the rings on it. Yeah. I'm so excited. Look at how good it all looks. Quick teaser again. Look. Ah. Ah. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. Oh, look at it. Oh. A teaser is showing like a little bit, giving a little bit of information without giving all the information away. It's enough.
Why did I have what in my ear? Don't worry, it wasn't.
Are you okay? Can I see?
It wasn't in. It was just on like this edge.
Okay. Please go. Okay. Fine. I need to quickly go to the bathroom. So I'm going to mute my mic, and I'm going to turn off my face camera so that way if my son wanders, he's not on YouTube camera alone by himself. I will be right back in just a minute. It's creating the joy before, which is the best. I will be right back. See, I'm back already. I'm so fast. Ta-da! Okay. I love how this looks. This is so very happy. So first I need to focus on this. And I need to figure out what I'm doing with this. How is everyone doing in the chat? Are we still having fun? I don't know if I can do more of this on camera right now, but I do have to get ready for my week, which I could do. So I just don't know how much more of this I can do on camera because I'm at the point where I just kind of need to ramble to myself, and I literally talk to myself out loud. So at this point, now that I've done the temperature taking, I need to determine kind of what I feel like. Down here I need to determine what I feel like are what are the seasons of my practice. And my practice, my journal is my biggest tool in my practice, along with tarot and astrology. They're all like, I use all three of them together all the time. So it's like, I need to determine what are the seasons of my practice. Hey, Nissa. Or is it Nessa? Nis, like N-I-S, or Ness, like N-E-S. Which is it? Anyways, hi. Hello. So at this point, that's what this is. I'm determining down here what the seasons of my practice are, because so a lot of folks will say they do shadow work in the winter, which is wonderful, except Nissa. Okay. It's wonderful to do shadow work in the winter, except for two things. One, not everyone has a winter. And people, some climates I don't even think really have like a slow season. Two, not everyone's shadow work point in time might feel like a winter thing, right? It would kind of depend on your chart. And this is a thing that where astrology has been eye-opening for me, right? Like, I don't, I'm trying to think of a good example. Some folks might come out of winter, if you live in that climate, I do, and really want to spend time on their gardens, on themselves, on that kind of a thing. But for others, that just might not feel good. Like, for me, the natural time for me to spend time with the issues of myself, addressing things about my identity and myself, is in Cancer season, which is the very beginning of summer, right? And it's just really cool that as you learn astrology, you can find your own natural flow and rhythms, and it can be a really eye-opening thing for your practice. Yeah, so a rainy time for some folks might not be a good time to do shadow work, because there's also mental health things too, right? Like, okay, here's an example. October. In the witchy community, October is generically spoken about to be a time. Hey, Emerald, how you doing? October is generically spoken about to be a time to do ancestor work, to really connect. It's said to be a very magical and spiritual time. And while there is some truth to that overall, that's not going to ring as true for each individual, right? So like when you hear building, when you hear about like the wheel of the year, and people are talking about, oh, like at Samhain it's really the time to get witchy, they might not feel that way, right? To me, Samhain is like the start of the witchier part of my life. It starts here. So this half here of my chart, the pink and the blue, is when I really go all out into the witchiness. And it does happen to line up better for my spiritual practice, or better for my seasons in my climate, which I have all 4 seasons. But like, I don't do shadow work specifically in the winter because it's the winter and you're supposed to do shadow work in the winter, so they say. I actually do more shadow work here in like the summer, because the areas in my life where I have the biggest shadow are in my identity and how I communicate and my resources and my mental health. So this side here, this side of my chart, so I'm going to write this down. See, this is how I think. And this is why I don't record this type of video for the channel, because long form content doesn't generally. Year of a Witch. It's a great book about constructing your own wheel of the year. I don't know that I have, Emerald. I'm going to look it up. Well, I haven't. I mean, oh no, I haven't read that. I've seen it. I've looked at that book. Is it good? Do you like it? Emerald, you are always, what is your chart? Are you a Cancer rising? Do you know? You might be a Cancer rising, or it just might be because, okay. So I wouldn't personally put shadow work into any one specific house, because we have shadows in all of the areas potentially. So there's no specific astrological house that I can point to and say to someone, what is, I can't point to a house and be like, here's shadow work season. That's not how it works. Shadow work is based on the wounds we hold, the traumas we carry, right? So since my biggest wound is in Cancer, is in this area of my life, and also up here in the sex area of my life too, I could do shadow work in Aquarius season. That could be really potent. But if I look at my chart and I think about myself, before this year, the first eclipse season was in the summer. Finally, it's moved more into the spring. Eclipse season is my shadow season. Never fails to uproot some stuff. Eclipses could be really powerful for people. That's really cool. Certain eclipses might be more powerful. So summer is really hard for me. I don't think I ever really noticed how hard summer is for me. But summer sucks. And now that I sit down and think about this, when I'm allowed to stay home during the winter, my seasonal depression pretty much disappears. Or at least my winter seasonal depression pretty much disappears. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better in the winter than in the summer. And for me, my wounds, the places where I've buried parts of myself, are all on this side of my chart now that I think about it. My life's purpose and my life's work, my community, because those two are connected for me, my mental health, the area of myself, my resources and communication. Those are areas where I have the most shadow work. So I'm going to write down here, down the side, I wrote shadow. Oh, I was late July and August are the worst for me every year. Emerald, what is your do you know your rising sign? I want your chart. I like looking at people's charts. I think I even have Barb's chart just for funsies. So this is a time where I end up doing a lot of shadow work. But to me, shadow work is a part of everything I do. Because the idea of shadow work is that you come up to these parts of yourself that you've deemed unworthy in some way. Do you know your birth date and time? Even if you know a rough time, I will generate your chart for you for free and just send you a picture of it so you can do that yourself. But I'm just curious and want to look at your chart. Okay, so if I wanted to specifically pick a period of time to do shadow work, it would be somewhere more on this side. It's not scary, it's beautiful. And then on this side, this is more where I want to do, what would I don't want to write light work. I fucking hate that term. But it's the opposite of, hold on. Zariah, I need your help. Yeah, in the summer, I can't eat if it's too hot. May 20th around 2 p.m. Okay, Emerald, you have me on Facebook Messenger. Can you send me your birth details, your date, the time you were born, and the place you were born? If you could send me that, I will generate your chart. I will send you a picture of it, and then I get to look at it for fun for myself. I also don't like the term light and love because it has been used in a lot of toxic positive ways. I need your help. I need you to come here. Why? Because I need your help. With what? I need to find a word. No, not word. Can you please come here? You have your chart? Not. I hate you so much right now. Stop it. Okay. Augment. Say stop. Okay, hold on. Here's the context. Shut up and let me give you the context. Come here. So I'm determining the kinds of work I want to do in my seasons based on my chart, right? And I've determined that this half of my chart is my more shadowy half of my chart. Okay. Okay. So then what would this be? I don't say light, because in spirituality, there's this whole light work thing, which has been co-opted by a lot of just awful toxic positive bullshit and that I don't want. So I'm trying to think of like the opposite of shadow work that's not light work. It wouldn't be light work because shadow is like hidden. So you want the opposite of hidden. But it wouldn't be like visible. Oh my God. It wouldn't be visible, nor would it be like revealed. Barb said illuminated. That's good. Elf, just so you know, if you are curious about your chart, shameless self-promo, I am a professional astrologer. I do chart sessions. So, just saying. Barb, get my website. Actually, it's in the description box. See, if you're going to take away, I don't know. I was thinking like shine, shadow and shine. But that sounds kind of cheesy. Shining works because then it's the shining, it's the things that are visible and seen. The shining. Except if you said shining, I think of the creepy movie. My services. So, what? Reclaim that. Turn it around. Make it something else. Here. It doesn't have to be the creepy movie. Thanks, Barb. Like the sunlight shining. You know, whatever. I mean, shining does work. Well, yes. Deborah, yes, spiritual work, except actually spiritual could work just because of the fact that, Siren, I'm on a thesaurus. Thank you, Emerald. Like the bright half of the year does work too, glow work. I'll be a glowworm. Shadow and I'm gonna go with shine. Spiritual is really good, and that tends to be more like I feel most like myself. I feel most like myself here. I feel very into my spirituality and such, but spiritual work is kind of everywhere as well. Same with shadow work. My sessions are recorded, Jess, or they can be. That's as at the client's discretion. I have pre-recorded sessions, but I do offer at various times, which tend to work for different time zones. So if you get a pre-record, I can't do birth charts, rainbow work. That is pretty awesome. I can't do birth charts in a pre-recorded session. It needs to be a live session where we're on Zoom so we can talk back and forth so I can make sure you're understanding what I'm saying. I can't do those pre-recorded, but I do offer some services pre-recorded, and all of my sessions, even the live ones, can be recorded for the client or direct to the client's device for them to revisit as much as they might like to. Okay, so shadow and shine is what I'm going with. I'm going to put, though, I think summer is definitely rainbow work is amazing. So I cannot wait to hear people. Someone needs to tell Lisa about rainbow work instead of like light work. It's fabulous. Hey, babe. Someone said rainbow work. Is that not amazing? I'm going to message Lisa later and be like, Lisa, look at this. Oh God, that tastes good. So this half is more shadowy. This half is more shiny. That works. Shadowy and shiny. Now with an E in it. So now I need to determine, I want to pick a seasonal flow. Babe, I'm correct that summer is far and away the worst season for me, right? Like I have the hardest time. My mental health is the most stupid. I I feel like summer is the most shadowy part of my time of year for me. Does that make sense? That tracks for me as a person? Okay. So I feel like summer is the best time for me to do, oh dear, for me to do shadow work, because it just so happens that oh, I just got a theory. I actually have Chiron in Cancer. I have Chiron in Cancer with my rising sign, and Chiron is the place where you can find your biggest wound. And it's the biggest shadow work point, basically. if you were to pinpoint one. It connects to other things, but it's the biggest one. So I'm having multiple ideas going through my brain. Oh, reflection is good too. You might be a genius. Oh, Chiron in the first house sucks, Beth. I'm so sorry. I can't speak for what Chiron's like in other houses, but in the first house, oh, it sucks. It blows. It's all sorts of crappy. This is why the whole toxic light work, toxic positivity bullshit is even worse, because like the toxicness of it is the idea that like you can just think positive and everything will be great. Are you looking at your whole sign chart, Beth? You said I have your chart. I'm looking. I'm gonna look at your chart. Where is your chart, Beth? I'm looking. Oh yeah, in your second house. Yep. Oh, Beth, it's almost your birthday. Happy almost birthday, Beth. Chiron in the 12th house is really rough too. I can imagine. I don't experience it. But like it's toxic positivity that says that shadow work is like the shadow are the parts of yourself that are like evil and bad and that you should tuck away and never deal with, which is not correct. Chiron does suck everywhere. It it's it's the wound that follows you through life. No problem, Elf. Thank you for joining. I hope you had fun. So what I need to determine is kind of my seasons, my overall seasonal themes. So everyone who's in the chat who is talking about their Chiron, if you have your chart, or if you're watching this, if you have your chart, I recommend and use whole sign house system. If you have your chart and you know where your Chiron is, that is probably your shadow work season. My Chiron is in Cancer, and Cancer season begins the summer. So it makes sense that the summer season is going, especially Cancer season, is going to be a great time for me to do some shadow work. There will be other times throughout the year where I can do shadow work. I could do shadow work in all the areas, but if I had like a prime time for shadow work, it would probably be in the summer season. If you've got Chiron in your 12th house, well, I can't say by houses. I need to know like the signs. Beth, let's test this theory. Beth, where are you? Beth. What kind of climate do you live in, Beth? Where's Barb's chart? Too. Barb. So for Barb, spring might be a shadowier time for you. I don't know what kind of climate that is, Beth, because I've never been, and I'm horrible at geography. But Barb, looking at your chart quickly, shadow work season for you might be more potent. If you wanted to do like a season of shadow work, it might be more potent to do it in the spring because your Chiron is in Aries, which is the beginning of spring. Beth, if you wanted a specific season, yours is in Pisces, so that is at the end of, okay, cool. Thank you, Beth. That's at the end of winter. So winter might be your most potent season to do shadow work. And rather than like, for me, it's kind of like the very start of summer is very shadowy and then it eases up. I have a bit of shadow work each season, but okay, so I don't think I want to put that you're a Taurus. I can't wait to look at your chart, Emerald. Don't you worry. I don't think I want to put shadow work as a specific season theme. I think I want to go a bit differently like that. So my idea so far is like this first part of anyone's chart, the first 3 houses of your chart are a quadrant, right? And they are your first house of self, your second house of your resources, both tangible and intangible, and your third house of your ideas. So it's whatever time of year has those those houses. That's, and of course this would be opposite in the northern hemisphere, or in the southern hemisphere, my apologies. So the first quadrant of a birth chart, of anyone's birth chart, the first 3 houses are a very self-centered place. And I don't mean that in the bad way. I mean that in the like, it's all about you. It just literally is, right? And that's okay. So I want to very much in that time focus on myself. And that's in the summer for me. I'm going to pencil it in first because I'm just feeling a bit nervous. And then the fall for me. So the first 3 houses are like the time of self. Let me see. Because there's an actual thing in astrology, but I just have trouble fully understanding the words they choose to use for it. I'm looking to see if I can find one that's I can show y'all. Oh my God. This isn't quite very good. Nope, I don't like that one. I'm looking at charts to see. Okay. I don't. This is too 12-letter alphabet-y. Okay. I'll show you this so that way you can see what I'm actually talking about. Okay. Hold on. Share screen. Okay. Let me make it bigger for you. So there's this thing in astrology where it breaks it up based on the quadrants. So the first 3 houses are always kind of about like yourself, self-centered or self-development, self-centered independence. Those are very good because you have the first house of self, the second house of resources, the third house of communication. I wouldn't necessarily, the questions at the bottom are a little bit more, actually, they're not bad. I thought they were too 12-letter alphabet-y. So asking the questions of who am I, what do I value, what do I think? The second quadrant, and this is for everyone's chart, just the time of year this will take place will depend on your chart. The second quadrant, I spend time with family, kids, and work, developing awareness outside of self with family, children, coworkers, etc. This is where it gets a bit weird. What do I feel? What do I will? What do I analyze? Those questions, I don't like them because I feel are the key words of Cancer, and Cancer is not it's Cancer, and Cancer is not everybody's fourth house, which is kind of what this is implying. What do I will? Those questions, I wouldn't recommend those questions for this, but because you're looking, analyze is a Virgo term. And what happens is people, this is a 12-letter alphabet thing, which I've talked about. And it's where people say like, Aries is the natural ruler of the first house. That's factually incorrect. They have some overlap, but that is an incorrect term. I highly do not recommend it. So, but based on things like that, people would say these first three would be Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. And I will are the key words of Leo, and I analyze are the key words of Virgo. But here it works. The first one, it works. Exactly, Beth. That's exactly it. Everyone's Virgo house is different, right? The first one happens to work out because who am I? That's your house of self. You're asking who you are. What do you value? That's your resources. Those questions make sense. What do you think? Your third house is communication and ideas. That makes sense, right? Here it doesn't quite work. This is the fourth house of roots. 1 second, Monica. This is the fourth house of roots, the fifth house of joy and play, and the sixth house of day-to-day life. So to me, this feels like environment more so. The third quadrant, this one, developing awareness about society, relationships, partners, intimacy, etc. And then the fourth quadrant is developing awareness about the world, humanity, my goals, and public service. That's where it gets kind of squidgy and where I start to have trouble with the with figuring out my own quadrants. So, but the summer feels like definitely self stuff, self-centered in the good way where I'm focusing on myself. I'm not focusing on others. The fall feels like environment to me. Does that make sense to others? You have this fourth house of your home and your roots and your ancestry. You have the fifth house of play, also children, if those apply for you, and just joy. And then you have the sixth house of the physical world, how your day-to-day life routines. That to me feels very environmental kind of area. My kid is laughing his face off. Monica. So the astrology deck that I use the most in my tarot practice is the Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. And that is because, and that's currently, I don't know if that's going to change. I use that with my Star Seeker tarot deck in very specific practices and services, which I also offer to the public, which I have developed. So when you hear me talking about doing like a moon return reading, I'm using that deck. When you're hearing me talk about my solar return reading, I'm using that deck. if you hear me talking about my year ahead spread, it's those decks. My favorite astrology deck is the Star Codes Astro Oracle. I did a video on it. Barb, if you're still here, can you grab a link to that? Oh, Barb, you are still here and you are a champion. Can you grab a link to my Astro Codes video? My kid is just cackling away in his room watching a show. So my brain. And that one's my favorite because as an astrology deck, I like how it is created. Check out my video. Check out my video, Monica. It might help you make your decision because I did a video where I flipped through it. It was very thorough. I flipped through the Astro Codes and I compared the two and I talked about the differences between the two. I really liked that video. So that video might help you if you don't mind seeing flip throughs of like the Astro Codes in whole. So yeah. And Barb will get you a link to that. So don't just give her a minute. She'll find it. It's fairly recent, Barb, so it shouldn't be an issue. So yes, highly. And it was someone, who was it? Was it you, Beth, that asked me to look at that deck? Someone asked me to look at that deck. I don't remember who it was. Anyway. Okay, so the next three houses are the house of relationships. This is for me. The house of others, resources, both tangible and intangible, debt, death, taxes, and spiritualness. I feel like this feels like a time of alchemy. Does that make sense? Or like transformation? Does that make sense to anybody besides my brain? Because like I'm transformed through my relationships. I change and I grow through my relationships. Others, resources, and death and debt, all of these things are here. They're very transformational as well. And then of course there's a spiritual thing. This is also very behind closed doors kind of a place. Right? Like the eighth house is a lot of taboo topics are in the eighth house. Transformation, alchemy. Are you guys having fun? Is this interesting to anybody besides me? I hope so. I'm having fun. This is definitely a place. The seventh, eighth, and ninth house of our chart is definitely how we are affected by others. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do recognize the truth of that statement. My mental health's kind of in the tank, so I just get a little self-conscious and I would rather just ask and reassure myself than spiral or something. So okay. Aww, thank you. Oh dear, an in-laws visit. Are we excited or are we a bit trepidatious? So influences make sense. The tricky part is I am the idea is I am building keywords for me to work on in my spiritual practice, right? Like in the summer, it is self-centered, self-focused. I can do work specifically on and for myself. And I can understand in my brain the ways I can do that with these topics, right? The fall, I'm really leaning into creating the space around me, my environment. That makes sense. And I know I can understand in my brain how to I wrote this in the wrong thing. I can understand in my brain how that can apply into my practice and my life, how I can make themes on it, right? And I think I just need to color this in a bit more because it's looking so much like the other one. This green. There we go. Now I can see the distinct difference between the two. That was bothering me. This one I'm unsure about. So I'm trying to find, like, it's definitely a highly spiritual time, or it ends with a highly spiritual time. Um, hmm. I feel like it's kind of like tower work. Does that make sense? Because I'm building this is for me. I feel like it's the tower time. I feel like it's a time to like look at the things that have influenced you and knock that shit down. It's not so boundary work. Boundaries. It's boundaries, isn't it? I think it's boundaries. Does that make sense? Because like boundaries are a big thing you need in all of these with relationships, with um but you get what I mean though, right? Like it's the time it's the stuff where you're looking at these things that are influencing you. You're looking at these things that are influencing you. So I think boundaries is it, and it just so happens that like sometimes tower work is what you need to do to be able to build boundaries. Boundaries. I really like boundaries. So I've got self-centered environment work, boundaries, and then I need one more. And the last four or the last three houses are the 10th house of like life's work, path, your life's work, your life's purpose, your path, your reputation, your career, the 11th house of community, hopes and dreams. Winter is December, January, February, and summer is June, July, August. Yeah, I mean, that happens for a lot of people No problem, Snow. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you again soon. And then the last one is mental health. So is this based on the environment you live in? Can I call you Kay? I don't know if it's Kay Han or if it's like Kay is your initial and Han is your last name. So please let me know how I can refer to you. Chris or Kay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Do you mean that this is like winter is December, January, February? So here, okay. I won't explain what this is for, but that's the same here too, except for the fact of here. So here's the wheel based on my chart again. So in my climate, I have 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall. And I'm in the northern hemisphere. So for all of us in the northern hemisphere, winter times are, if you have winters, around the same time. The tricky part is it changes part ways. So out here is the wheel of the year, and you have the spring equinox up here, the summer solstice, the autumnal equinox, and the winter solstice. Winter begins in December, yes, but it is not fully like settled in until January. And then March, most of it is winter. And then at the end, it turns into spring. So December, at least in my hemisphere, in my climate, December, March, June, and September are the transformational, they are the mutable times of year where we change from one season to the next. But the majority of the season is contained with this. So like winter may start in December, but is it most of December? That's entirely dependent. Hello, books and potions. Right, like here where I live, winter definitely starts in December, but like sometimes we don't even have snow on Christmas or for Yule. Even though I get snow every year, I don't always have it in time for Christmas. It's cold. My body still thinks of it as winter, but winter hasn't settled in. Does that make sense? And I do need to also say, for anyone who's watching this at any point, my chart happens to line up for this kind of thing very well. It might not be quite so neat for everyone. What happened for me is it just so happens that my rising sign is a cardinal sign. And the cardinal signs are the beginning of the season. So if we start down here in Cancer, let me just make this just a bit bigger for you. Whoops. Interesting. Being an AZ girl. What is it? What do you mean? There. So if we start here, Cancer is a cardinal sign. And based, using an example of if you have 4 seasons, like I do, Cancer, the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries, that's true for everybody. The cardinal signs, oh, thank you, Tarot and Witchery. I'm so glad. The cardinal signs are the beginning of the season. They are the sparking seasons. It's when a season has begun And it doesn't have to be a physical weather season. It's just really good examples if you live in those climates. So Cancer here in my climate is the beginning of summer. Leo is a fixed sign. So it's a pattern all the way around. It goes cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable. Leo is a fixed sign, and the fixed signs are what take us through the majority of the season. In Leo season here in Toronto, Canada, summer is here. There's no questions about it. And then we go to a mutable sign, which is blah, blah, blah. Sorry, brain. Which is the transformation. The mutable signs are the changers or the trigger ones. It's the time where like it's like if Virgo was a person, they would come join the party and be like, oh, hey, I see we've been doing this summer thing for a while. It's time to do something new. And they bring us from one season to the next. Right? Because fall begins here on this side and goes and is officially started and has kind of settled in here. And that's how it goes through all the seasons. So it just so happens that I was born and I have my rising sign, Cancer, is a cardinal sign. So it's very nice and neat to line my chart up with the seasons. And this is partly why, for me, I am so seasonally inclined. For others, it might not be quite so true like that. For others, if you're an Aquarius rising, someone mentioned being an Aquarius rising, I believe, the first 3 portions of your chart would start in winter and end in spring, which is okay. And it would change how you might set up something like this. So I just need to make sure I'm very clear on that. Now, back to spring, I need to determine what I'm going to do. I love how colorful this is. I am so glad that this is fascinating. I also find this fascinating and could literally talk about this stuff all the livelong day. And I'm really hoping to do more videos about stuff like this on my YouTube that are more succinct, not for 2.5 hours, you know. So if you like this stuff and you want to see me do more journaling stuff like this, hey, Sunny Dee, Dawn, right? Can I call you Dawn? It's Dawn, right? Am I remembering right? Anyways, hi. If you want to see more stuff like this, please let me know. And if you YouTube doesn't put my journaling stuff out into the YouTube land well. So if you want to see more stuff like this, like I am going to be working on this month, my channel members voted, and okay, princess. How about I just call you Cup for short? Barb, you need to let me read your chart for you to you because I am good at explaining things. I'm explaining now in a way that is generic. It's easier to explain when I'm teaching you about yourself and your chart. Anyways, so my members got to vote and they voted first that they want to see me do the one I'm going to do first for the public channel is a video of different tarot spreads and tarot journal ideas. So I'm working on researching and developing things for that video now that they have voted. So my members got to vote on that. Where'd my pencil go? I found it. Yeah, I'm not hula dancing because I don't know how. But if you do like my journal stuff, YouTube doesn't put it out well. My journal videos don't do nearly as well as my other stuff. Please, it is extra important for my journal videos that you like them. You if you subscribe, if you haven't, that's always helpful too. But if you like my journal videos, it's extra helpful to like them. And you okay? And to comment. Getting a better engagement rate on those videos would help me it would help with the YouTube algorithm stuff, because I could do this stuff all day long. Literally, I'm not even kidding you. Okay, so for spring, I like this. I like this. I see this as a tool for an aspect of alignment. That's a good way to put it. I really, and it's I can't think of words, but I like the way start twerking, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how to properly twerk either. I can make my butt jiggle, but I don't know how to twerk. Oh, I don't know if that would help. It might. It's incredibly sweet. Um, I just know that there are more people out there who do my journaling content, but maybe they don't comment and stuff. So it's more so, and you comment a lot, Kay, so thank you. It's more so like if someone doesn't comment, I'm hoping that they will, even just like a smiley face or something. Anyways, spring. I have to figure out spring. And I think I want to fix get a bit more specific for, yes, liking the video helps out the algorithm a ton. For sure. And of course, if you know other people who like this stuff, you can share stuff with them. Okay, I have to focus. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, reflection, my life's work, community, mental health, um, um, the mental health part is kind of throwing me off. The 12th house is weird and hard. Bye, Nissa. Um, because the 12th house is self-undoing, it is seclusion, um it is dreams. So in terms of seasonally, yeah, dream, secrets, emotions is like 12th house. It's the unseen realm. It's the stuff that can like tear you apart. um I feel like for dreams is a bit more applicable to the seasonal stuff. I'm gonna write dreams just so I have it in my head. Dreams. Okay. And then I'm going to turn my book back. Highlight that. Dreams. There. this is very much the realm of the mind, basically. But it's still throwing me off. Life's work, reputation. I'm thinking of words like service but that's not quite right. Because like I'm also thinking of like contribution, spiritual connections. Um, mm, hmm. This one's hard. I don't know why this one's hard. Um, reflection and growth since it's spring. Growth could work. Y'all really like the word reflection. I feel like there's certain things that are just integrated to all parts of my practice. And I think I think reflection is part of it. Self-centered, I need to fix that. I think I need to. I like growth, intuition, transformation. Not transformation. Hmm. I keep thinking of shadow work as like the summertime. I'm gonna change fall from environment to sacred. Instead of self-centered inward reflection, self-centric metamorphosis, self-awareness, or exploration. Metamorphosis is really good. Metamorphosis is a great word. I think that could be better for some of like a more specific theme. So I like growth for spring, I think, because I can explore that in different ways. Because these are my seasonal, and then I need to be able to do different themes. Um, hmm. Boundaries. Boundaries is a really good thing for. Maybe I don't need to do. Well, okay. Hi, Danielle. Um, cultivation. I like that word. Are you thinking for spring, Sunny or Dawn? Are you thinking cultivation for Spring. I guess I'm trying to figure how these parts fit together, because this part here is it's multi-purpose. I want to pick themes. So for those who weren't here earlier, I did this in an old journal, and this was kind of an inspiration point. And I had it the same way of like, I had the quarters of the year by season. It happened to be, were split up into different energies. And then within that energies, it's different types of work I can do to work on the theme, right? That's kind of the idea here. So for the giving, this is a really good example. For the giving, when I had the theme where I wanted to be working on giving, my idea at the time was to, in October, give random acts of kindness. And in November, to give just random little letters of love to people. And in December, to work on surprising people, nice kinds of surprises. I wanted to give in a way, right? So that's the kind of feeling. So this is a really good example of the type of thing we're going for. I'm going for June, April, May, June. June starts as spring and turns into summer here. July is when summer has fully settled in. Now, granted, of course, global warming does definitely change things for sure. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what are these themes of work I want to explore for each season. Janine, hi. My bestie's in the chat. Hello, my friend. I love you, but not you, Cameron. No, look, Janine's in the chat. Hi, there.
Hi.
Okay, go on. Mwah.
No, I'm staying here until Janine says hi back.
Oh, you're going to stay until Janine says hi back. Janine, you better type. So
yeah, or else I'm never gonna leave.
I will keep doing my thing, but please now say hi to Cameron so he'll leave. There he is.
Thanks,
Look,
that's all I want.
Look, we'll send some ghosts. There, go away.
After a hug.
Okay. Kiss. I love you.
Send love to Janine.
Send love to Janine. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, thank you. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out here is what's a seasonal type of work I can do that I can explore with different types of work for each month. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm trying to hit here. Like boundary work, I could do that. Did you see my last comment? Oh, I did now, Beth. You could have several keywords under the wheel and then break them down into the specific months. I could for sure. Let me think. So fall for sacred space, I think, is perfect because like in 1 month for sacred space, I could work on building my daily spiritual practice, right? I in another month, I could work on really cleansing In another month, I could work on. Okie dokie, Barb. Thanks for your help. Bye. Another month, I could work on. I could work on blah, 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 words. I could work on fucking hell. What was I gonna say? Under sacred space, I could do decluttering. I could do reorganizing. I could do cleansing, energetic cleansing, physical cleansing. I could do reinvigorating of my day-to-day routines, right? There's a lot I can do within this theme of sacred space. Do you see what I mean? Same with like shadow work. There's a lot of different ways I could do shadow work. I could do a month of, but I'm still not quite sure if that's quite it. The boundaries feels really good. I could do cord cuttings. I could focus a month on protection. I could, do you see what I mean? So it's just these two, or these two. Cultivation, you can cultivate a new habit and practices and other things. If so, mind, body, spirit.
You, Janine. I didn't think Janine watches your lives.
Janine watches my journaling stuff. Okay,
Love
honey.
you, Janine.
I am sure she's saying "love you too, Cameron" to her screen. Well, I'm thinking about.
I hope she types it so I can see.
The only one,
right now.
Dawn, really the only one I feel super solid on
Tell
is
her to type "I love
Cam.
you too, Cam."
She can hear you, I'm sure.
I love you.
Soraya, can you please help me? Really, the only one I feel super. Oh, see there, she just said it back, Cameron. Okay, go on, bud. The only one that feels very solid, is the sacred space. The boundaries is pretty good, but I just don't feel like I'm quite fully there yet. I do feel like I am getting hungry. And like I've been live for almost 3 hours and I should go and spend some time with my kiddo and some time with feeding myself. So any last suggestions for any of these beside like the fall sacred space I'm gonna go with. Have a good night, Emerald Fern. So I'm gonna if anyone's got any like questions or last minute suggestions or anything, now's the time. And again, look at how pretty and colorful it is. Isn't it so happy? And the seed sowing, interesting. And the idea too is that like this isn't just necessarily spiritual work, it's stuff I can do, I can build goals on as well. But it's definitely a development tool. That's okay, Beth. We've been here for 3 hours, so it's fair. Does anyone have any questions, journal questions, or anything that I might answer before I hop off? I'm going to pick my wife's brain about this because she's really good at words and stuff. And she knows what I'm thinking when I can't figure it out. um, boundaries is really good, but I feel like boundaries might be one of the months, like one of the potential ways to work with it within the thing. So, but it doesn't look like anyone has any last questions. So, huge thanks to everyone who's been hanging out and to everyone who watches this on Space. I mean, Space is good. Thinking. Hey, you can see my cord from my phone. You must watch from the. It was fun. So, for anyone who, like, please, letting go is interesting. My brain is starting to fritz out on me. So, thank you so much to everybody who's been hanging out, and for everybody who's watching the playback of this, thank you too. Please like the video. It is super important and super helpful. Same with on the playback, and commenting really helps. If you're watching this later and you have any ideas for my themes, please leave them in the comments and let me know. But I am going to go and get myself some food. I have not eaten enough today. And I then spend some time with my kiddo before we play D&D tonight. So thank you all so very much. Stay tuned. The video of my new journal is coming. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you, Monica. And if not, leave comments for the algorithm. Yes, that would be very helpful. Just something like, oh my gosh, the journal's so pretty. And like, it doesn't, it seems frivolous. It just is such a huge help, which is why YouTubers are always saying, please like and comment, right? Because it is a huge help. So I'm going to let you go. I hope you all had just as much fun as I did hanging out. Thank you so much for keeping me company. Oh, and don't forget to check out my channel membership. There's a join button beside the subscription button that you can check out. And there should also be a link in the description box. But you can check out my channel membership where there's lots of cool rewards and extras and stuff that you get. It's so much fun, and we're just getting it started this month, so it's really exciting. But I'm gonna let you go, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Bye.